All right, it's Thursday, April 10th. This is a kind of a morning update on the SPY here. Even though it's only 2 hours into trading and there's still a long way to go, a lot could happen. Just thought I'd kind of highlight what's unfolded so far and what seems to be developing. Obviously, today we started, we had the pre-market range between the blue lines. We started down on bar one and then kind of moved lower to technically put intraday structure to the downside. Although if we look at the daily chart at the beginning of the day, it was kind of still above the midpoint of the prior day. We knew this big green bar from my kind of pre-market analysis could pose a kind of a problem in terms of just being stuck inside of this for a long time to come, since we were gapping down pretty strongly from the close. But with the volatility, maybe we could have started up on a red to green move and tested that high. Given the way things have started the day, it doesn't look like that's unfolding, and it looks like we have what in strat terms is like a big mother bar, which means it's going to take time to get out of this whole area and really get a comfortable feel for what to expect next. That said, in terms of the very first move, you wanted to see it a little quicker, maybe develop red to green, but it started to here, and then it didn't really close. And then this bar started up, and then, it kind of failed as well, and then it started turning red, and that's why it's not surprising now we've continued lower and just kept the structure down on the day. So if you're going to trade the SPY outright, if you want to be real aggressive, you could have bought puts, on this breakout. You would have had a hold through the midpoint of the first bar as long as that held. That's always my reference point. Now you're getting a secondary push to the downside. There are other ways to think of it, of just doing nothing, waiting for the red to green, and it never developed, so you're not getting in and you're just missing this whole move, and that's fine too. And obviously there's no real upside buys that started out of the gates here this morning. For me personally, I was more in tune with the upside just based on yesterday, thinking we could get a red to green, and I was looking at individual stocks, and I traded three stocks today: Costco, CrowdStrike, and Coinbase. I described all of those, and I actually took small gains if I look at them quickly on all of them. The Coinbase stock you bought here at the lower blue line on a red to green move, and that one did follow through to scale me out, and I exited the rest of the trade near my entry point, so that was a small gain. Costco is very similar. This was one of the stronger stocks out of the gates, didn't really pull back at all, and I bought it here on bar three. I was able to scale out, and again, I ended up, when I saw the market not really giving me the red to green, I exited this one with a small gain. And finally, CrowdStrike was the same kind of thing. I bought this on a red to green, kind of anticipating, and again, I got the follow through, scaled out, set up a no risk trade, and I was able to take a small gain on that. So to me, I was still biased to the upside, and I took three small gains in this, environment that is clearly down. So I'm happy with that, and I kind of know that this is just a tough day to trade. I mean, look at this bar that's developing so far. It just looks like a big inside bar that doesn't really, you don't expect much follow through down here, although anything's possible. There's enough volatility, like I was describing in the pre-market video, to kind of play these moves and just get some nice little gains from the intraday structure. But in terms of the bigger picture, it's tough to say what's developing. If anything, what's developing here is you're going to probably, unless some major reversal happens here and we head higher, which is, anything's possible, it looks like it's going to be like an inside bar here today. So now all of a sudden for the rest of the week and maybe into next week, we start getting inside bar, failures, because I was talking about how with these mother bars and, that you expect a big trading range, it's best to look at failures up top to sell and failures down the bottom to buy. So if we get some kind of an inside bar here developing, and we'll find out by the end of the day, then we might get an attempt to break lower from there, but not reach our target, which would normally be, the low that's previous to that inside bar, and then you'd fail and come back up through the range, and that could be a good trade, on the upside if that conforms with intraday structure. Same thing on the upside. If we move up from the inside bar and can't hit our target up here and then fail, that could be a good trade to the downside. Meanwhile, it's just going to be choppy in this, so you can kind of go with opening price action if it gives you something, but just know that the sustainability might be in question. Although today, obviously it is moving down nicely from the the opening range. So again, I'm not surprised you're getting this action. It's not easy to, want to feel comfortable that this was going to develop. but it is, and that's why, if nothing else, it allowed you to cut any long trades short, or exit long trades that weren't following through to the upside, just given the structure. So that's the way it kind of unfolded for me. Again, even if I missed this move down here, I'm kind of happy with the fact that in this environment, and the decision made to kind of try the buy side, that it all worked out a little bit just by picking the right stock. So we'll see how this thing ends up. Like I said, I see this more now of just kind of forming very tricky price action inside this big green bar for a while, and until that really resolves itself in some way, shape, or form in the days or even into next week in some form, it seems like you're just going to have some nice volatility in here, if you want to think of it that way. And the best, probability opportunities, I think, are going to be near the extremes of the range on failures going the opposite way.